So what you see right here is the setup for the modified Atwood machine. We have a car, and if you look closely at the car, it's attached to a string, and if you follow that string down, it's attached to a mass hanging off the edge. There's extra masses on the car just to slow it down so you get a little more points of data. The first thing you'll need to do when you get to the car is turn it on. This one's already on, which you can tell because this light right here is blinking. But the way you'll turn it on is just push that power button right there and it will turn on. The car should be off when you get to it. What you're going to do with this lab is just vary the mass that is hanging over there 5 times and collect the data so that you can make a graph that deals with force and acceleration. So I'll show you over here of how you're going to get the data for the force and the acceleration. So what you're going to do is you're going to use this tablet to get the information. First thing you want to do with this tablet is go into the settings tab once you've turned it on and make sure that the Bluetooth is turned on. If the Bluetooth is on, you're good. If not, you'll need to turn it on. Don't connect anything there, just turn the Bluetooth on if it is off. Once it's on, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the Spark view and you'll probably open up to this tab right here. If it looks a little different, still just find this little plus sign with in the page and click that. And the graph that you're going to get is this top one on the right. Okay, notice that if it came up to a page with a graph, there's the same symbol. You're going to click that one and it'll pop up the same exact thing. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a graph. So once you have this set up as a graph, you don't have any specific type of graph yet, what you need to do is connect to the car. So click the Bluetooth button up here and you're going to connect to the car. Now this car right here is the only one that's shown as being on, but when you do this in a classroom, there's going to be a whole bunch of different cars that are here. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look at your car and you can see that same number will be on the top of the car. So I have that number, that's the number car that I'm going to connect to. So I'm going to click this right here, click that car, it'll connect to it and hit done. After you've connected to the car, you need to make sure you zero out your force gauge. So when I click this, I'm going to click configure sensor. I'm going to change it to the force sensor and I want to zero the sensor. Now if I zeroed it right now as I just showed you, it would be zeroed with the mass hanging off. You don't want that part. So with the car, make sure when you zero the sensor that this mass over here has been lifted up so that there is nothing pulling on that hook, because that hook is actually the force sensor. So now that that's up, I can come over here and I can click OK, or sorry, zero sensor now, and then hit OK. I'm going to make a force gauge or a force graph real quick just to verify that it's done. So what I did was I clicked select measurement, force, and I'm going to hit the play button right here so that it starts collecting data. And I should see that that is right on the 0, which it is, so that's fine. Now I don't want to keep that there, that was just a test, so here's how I get rid of the data. I hit the settings button down here, manage data, manage runs, and then I'm going to delete all runs, or if I just want to delete the last one, I could hit delete last run. And done, and now that's gone. Now if I just look at my force graph, it's going to be hard to tell exactly what I need to look at. So what I want you to do first is change to a velocity graph. Remember, you need to collect 2 things, forces and acceleration. So if you're trying to get the acceleration here, you're going to find the slope of your velocity time graph. So what I'm going to do is collect the data and I'll go through and show you what that's going to look like. So to collect the data on a velocity time graph, hit that play button and then I'll go start the car. And I'll stop. Now, all the stuff that you see here, there's a whole bunch of nothing happening, and then something, and then it comes back to nothing happening. Just think about what a velocity time graph should look like when it's accelerating, it should look like that incline right there. So you're just gonna scroll until you get that diagonal line on the screen, and you're gonna highlight it. Here's how you'll highlight it. You click that box, that snipping tool right here, okay? And you'll just grab and highlight a bunch of those points. So I wanna get as many as I can that are on there. Okay, so it's a little touchy, but that's fine right there. And to get the slope of the line, 3 boxes will pop up. Pick the one in the middle. It'll give you a linear fit, and that M value, the 0.501, is your slope. Now, another thing to pay attention to in this part, look at where this is occurring. So this is occurring for me right between 17 and 18 seconds. That's important because that's the part I'm going to look at on the force graph. So I'm going to change this from a velocity graph to a force graph. Now, it collected the data the whole time. It was just you didn't see it. But I want to go find that same spot in time where it was. So it's right about from 17 to 18 seconds. So I'm just going to be looking at that part from 17 to 18 seconds. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to highlight that part from 17 to 18 seconds. All right, and your time will probably be different. But when I highlight that part, I don't want the slope of this, I want the average value. So I'm going to click in that box and see that button that looks like sigma. I'm gonna click that, and the average or the mean is what I'm gonna select. And I find the mean value or the average value of force during that section was 0.9 newtons. So what I've found is I found my force that was acting, and I found the acceleration that was acting. So what I'd need to do is change that mass that was hanging 4 more times, get the 4 more accelerations, get 4 more forces, and then I can create a graph with those 5 data points of force versus acceleration that'll be used in the lab report. When you're doing this, one thing you might want to do as well is just take a picture. You can just take a picture with your phone of what the graph looks like one force graph, one velocity graph. That will probably help in your explanation of what was happening when you write your lab report.